Premier Media's Mining Weekly Online is speaking to Steve Phiri, the CEO of Royal Bafokeng Platinum. Steve, can you share with us your thoughts on RBPlat's performance in the 6 months to June 30?
Thanks, Martin. The performance of RBPlat is actually a mixture of the good and the bad, maybe the ugly. Let me start with BRPM. A very solid performance, operational performance from BRPM, with the cost very well contained, but for the fact that we opened up UG2 platform and we had to bring the crews on board without the volumes coming up again. So that's why you see the cost per ton up and cost per ounce up. But generally the costs are contained. It's because of the UG2 having to bring it on board. But it's a very good performance. And if you look at BRPM, the gross profit is up by 140% compared to the same period last year. So solid performance from BRPM, and we are actually proud of the guys who deliver the result. And with regard to Styldrift, a not so good performance. Even though the tons, the ounces are up at Styldrift, we are in a ramping up process. And in ramping up problems, there are ups and downs normally all the time. But it has to be said that we're not satisfied with the performance because the ramping up was quite slow and the tons are lower and the ounces lower than we had planned. We experienced quite a number of difficulties in keeping to the ramp-up schedule because the construction of the strike belts was slow and therefore we could not hoist. But also the skills shortage is in fleet management engineers. We had serious problems with skill shortage, people coming in, people going and being recruited because it's a very scarce skill. Remember that you're running a mechanized mine, you need that fleet and you need it maintained and roadworthy, or mine-worthy, if I may put it that way. So there are quite a number of challenges that we had, and compounding that, we had problems with the ground condition, and therefore that slowed down that construction, that advance. You had to rehabilitate that area itself. But having said that, the mining part of it, the blasting, proceeded quite well, but we could not hoist, and therefore we have got some tons underground that we could not hoist. The bottom line is that the ramping up was not as good as it's supposed to be. As a result, you see the costs at Styldrift quite high, and therefore diluting the good performance of BRPM. It's natural in a mine that is in a ramp up. Remember that we are expensing Styldrift costs for the first time. Previously they had been capitalized, so when you look at it you say, wow, these costs are high, but it's the first time. And remember, we are onboarding people in preparation for ramp up to 230,000 tons per month. So we have got employees, but the volumes are not coming, and therefore the fixed costs are not compatible also with the volumes themselves. Having said that, we are excited with Styldrift. It's a wonderful mine. We are on track to ramp up to 230 by the third quarter of next year, translating into around 430,000 4E ounces per annum by the third quarter of next year going forward. We may not reach it for 2020, but certainly 2021 we should be at that ounces profile. So Styldrift, and the cost will be contained once the volumes come up and we have got IMS, sufficient IMS to give us that flexibility. And the guys are on top of their game. We have just been delayed by problems, but we are not out.